Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of hell. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at UBNradio.com.
Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. I'm your host, Wendi Cooper, and it's time to sit back, let go, and start living unfiltered. How do I look, Tony? How do I look? Oh, bring up your microphone.
There it is. You look great.
Hey, thank you. Well, welcome everybody. This is look. I'm leaning into the microphone. I have got to fix my microphone, and I have to come back. Okay, I'm going to order these aging tapes, the aging backwards tapes I saw on KCET fundraiser thing on television.
Can you get
about
2 for 1?
How you get your strength back as you get older. You know, we start to crunch in the middle, and then our organs start to crunch, and we don't feel good. And that's me. I'm crunching these days.
No, I don't like that.
No.
Well,
But anyway,
too.
here we are. We're at Living Unfiltered, everybody, and tonight is going to be an awesome night because it's. I was so looking forward to this, and so I'm going to set it up a little bit, Tony.
Go for it.
Okay. So for those of you that are first tuning in and you've never listened to me before, Living Unfiltered is a place where we kind of talk about anything and everything, and we do so in an unscripted, unrehearsed, and unfiltered way. That doesn't mean that it's nasty or rude or anything like that. It's just fun, and we're here to talk serious subjects or not. And I'm able to not focus on what I do every day, which is marketing, and produce commercials and do all sorts of stuff with products. But I just focus on having fun and sharing. Well, tonight is going to be one of those nights which sometimes I go back to my roots, and I love it because when I do a show that has anything to do with entrepreneurship, which I've been an entrepreneur for ever, since 1992, and it has to do with product, and it has to do with Shark Tank, and it has to do with friends, and it has to do with serendipitous relationships and coming back together. It's just awesome. And so that's why I'm really excited about this show tonight, because I am in my place. Yay. My guest tonight is Morri Chowaiki. And I said it right. See, now I want you to look on screen. We can't zoom in, or else I'd say zoom in. I said it right. And Morri has been a friend of mine. Actually, I say he's a friend of mine, but I haven't talked to Morri in many, many, many years. But I met Morri in 1993 or 94, 96 maybe. Well, I was doing this thing called Slender Secret, and it was the Power 4 Days, and it was this infomercial, and I created the product, and it was a juice therapy, and it was enormous. It became the #1 diet in Brazil, and it had Robin Leach in the infomercial, and I was a spokesperson, and I would go on HSN, and I would run the direct response. You know, I did everything. I did everything with my partner Alvaro Guerrero in Brazil. And I guess I met Morri because I went off on my own and I did this commercial. I did this thing. I think it was the pet wipes. Morri Chowaiki. We got to get him on because he's going to rack my memory of how we actually did come together. Morri, welcome to Living Unfiltered.
Thank you, Wendi. Great to be here. I appreciate it.
You know, you have 2 decades experience as an entrepreneur, right? And
I do.
And an executive in the e-com and consumer packaged goods industry, which is exactly where I come from. Several years ago, you invented a product called the Hanukkah tree topper. I'm Jewish, married to an Italian, a Catholic Italian.
Did you order one?
No, but I loved it when I saw you on Shark Tank, which was season 5 and season 6, right? And
yep. We had our original airing on season 5, and then we had our update episode, which kind of shows, what happened since filming on season 6. So it's been a great ride.
It's awesome, and I remember sitting there because I always watch Shark Tank, always. Because I've seen a lot of those products from being involved with the inventors for so many years. I've seen a lot of the products that go on Shark Tank. I've seen them already, and I mean, in a panel situation, and I've actually suggested what your next step is, and then I see them on Shark Tank, and I'm like, yes, look at them, and I couldn't tell you a handful of them for sure, but you not only went on Shark Tank with your tree topper, Hanukkah tree topper, you ended up working with Damon John.
Yes, I did, and it was pretty phenomenal. For those that haven't seen the show, you basically go up in front of 5 millionaire and billionaire investors, kind of pitching your idea, and you go in with no script whatsoever. You got to know your numbers inside and out, and you go and you make your pitch, and I made my pitch, and then you kind of wait, one by one, they all sort of make their commentary, come in and out, and people that are familiar with the show see, they see 8 minutes total.
That's right, but you're
well, that actually takes anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half to film.
I heard that.
And so, after I pitched and everybody grilled me, one by one the sharks went out. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and then Damon came in, swooped in, and hey, we're doing lots of great work together.
I think it's remarkable because actually, I don't know if I thought to myself, number one, I saw you, and I said to my husband, "Oh my God, I know that guy." And I
didn't change much in 20 years, did I?
And then
a few more gray hairs.
And then I said, and look, he has a Star of David for the Christmas tree, Marino, because obviously I'm Jewish, he's Catholic, and I said, this is awesome, but I really didn't think it was big enough. Actually, I didn't personally think it was big enough. And then when Damon did the deal with you, and then I was in Bed Bath & Beyond, because I think that's when I called you. I saw it in Bed Bath & Beyond, and I went, rock on, Morri. That was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, as you said before, I've had, 20 years now in consumer packaged goods, e-commerce. I started, with a partner in e-commerce company that, that's where you and I met, is that we carried your product. And I remember seeing, I want to say half of our office was filled with these, bottles, these boxes filled with 2 bottles of juice, and I'll never forget it. But your product went off the shelf because you're a crazy marketer, just like, you say you are, and you had a great product out there.
I think that was 6 Day Bio Diet. That was the first one. That one did like $600 million or something.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was absolutely unbelievable. Yeah. But, so this was, this product was just, it came out of a need in my own home. I'll tell you, if you're interested, I'll tell you the story of how it kind of came about.
Absolutely.
So, I grew up, quite traditionally Jewish, and my wife comes from a family that is interfaith as well. She has a Greek Orthodox father and a Jewish mother, but not a lot of religion in the household. But they celebrated all the holidays, and for years and years and years, she wanted to put up Christmas decorations in the home, and have the lights, and have the presents and all that. And I always was just kind of wasn't something that made me comfortable. And then finally, about 10 years into our marriage, you kind of grow into each other. And I said, what, let's go ahead and do it, but just don't go over the board. Don't go crazy. I don't want to see the nativity scene in my living room. So, so she went out and came home and said, stay upstairs. Don't come downstairs until I call you. And I'll never forget this. I hear all this clanking and paper and ripping and, noises and things breaking. And finally, I'm like, my fingernails half bitten off. She calls me, and I go downstairs. And I see on our dining room table this little 3-foot Christmas tree. And she's decorated the whole table in the colors of Hanukkah with blue and silver fabrics and decorations and ornaments and menorahs and dreidels and Hanukkah wrapping paper all over the place and these little, silver and blue balls all over the tree. But on the top of the tree was a 5-pointed star. And I looked at it, and I'm like, that is so adorable. But, and I really appreciate all the energy you went to. And almost as a joke, I said, couldn't you at least find a Jewish star to put on top of the tree? And she actually said, believe it or not, I looked for one and I couldn't find one. And then me, Mr. Internet, says, I'll get on Google, I'll find it in a New York second. And I looked, and I looked, and I looked, and I looked, and it wasn't there. Nobody had ever made one for the mass market or for, any sort of mass consumption. They had, pictures of ones that were made out of popsicle sticks and tinfoil and whatnot.
We always made them, in my house, because I grew up the same way, and we would always put something weird on the top of the tree, like But we had a Hanukkah bush. We always had a Hanukkah bush. We didn't have a Christmas
tree. And that's exactly what we never. My goal was never to integrate 2 holidays. It was then I started to do my research because I'm kind of a data geek, and I found out that there was national surveys that were recently done that showed that over 48% of Jewish people in the United States since 1996, so when this was done, call it, in the last, 13, 14 years when I came up with this idea, had married somebody of another faith. And more than 80%, and this was like a Pew National, study, more than 80% of those people married somebody who was Christian. So I started doing the numbers. I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, talking about 6 million Jews in the U.S., half of them in the last, the numbers are clicking. I'm like, okay, there's probably like 5 to 700,000 households here. There's a market for this.
Oh, if just 10% of those bought one, I would be rich.
Exactly. And I also couldn't, wrap my brain around the fact that it didn't exist because there was already a lot of fervor around Chrismica and the OC, and there was interfaith ornaments, but nobody had done the topper. So I went an extra step, and I actually partnered with an intellectual property attorney, and I friggin' patented the thing.
You got a utility? Is that a utility patent you got on that?
No. It's a design patent, but it's for a very simple Star of David. So, with the ordinary observer law, unless you put a bunch of snowflakes and, and unique textures and whatnot, it really, it does have protection. And as you know, it's all about the marketing. The fact that I could go out the day after I put that application in, which actually then got approved, I was able to say patent pending. And, the fact that you can say that and patent, it's all about the marketing. And it took off like crazy, Wendi. I mean, I put this thing on Amazon without expecting a thing. And the very first year we put it on was 2009. We got over 700 pre-orders in a matter of, I think it was 3 weeks. It became the number one best-selling topper out of 5,000 toppers, the number one best-selling Hanukkah gift out of 5,000 SKUs, and something like the number one best-selling ornament out of 80,000 ornaments. We were all shocked. We couldn't believe it. And the rest is history. A few years later, Shark Tank, and here I am today.
That's crazy. Amazon's awesome, isn't it?
It's phenomenal.
I think for entrepreneurs and people launching products, if you understand how to use Amazon to do your proof of concept, it's difficult. I work with Amazon a lot, and it's you really have to be careful. And if you have high velocity, high sales, they're going to hold your money. And there's all sorts of little quirky things and a lot of things with Amazon. But it's an incredible place for entrepreneurs, for new product people, inventors even, to get it to the point where, of course, you can sell it and you have a product, packaged good. But what a great place to test a product. What a great place.
It's phenomenal.
And
it's
to sell
absolutely
a product.
phenomenal. But I'll tell you one thing about Amazon. If you're not diligent about customer service, you will get thrown out of there in a heartbeat. And that was something that I was, and this I learned back in the days of, when I did e-commerce in the mid-'90s. Customer service is everything. Absolutely everything.
Yes,
and so, we
is.
had issues where we had quality concerns and whatnot. And if you're diligent about responding to every customer within, a certain number of hours, making sure every product is delivered when you say trackable, I mean, it becomes a beautiful platform.
Did they not have FBA here? Wait, let me take you back in time for one quick moment. There was you were the voice in Dahlway cardio kickboxing, were you not?
Oh my goodness, I was, yes.
Okay, so you were that voice. Tony, can we let everyone hear the work of
Morri? No,
Morri?
you did not find a clip of this, please.
Dahlway cardio kickboxing.
Oh my.
Check it out.
I love this. And I didn't watch it until today for years.
Wendi, I used to like you.
Oh, wait. And the way it ends. Do Dahlway. Make the call. Okay, that's it. That's good. But it ends with Morri saying "Do Dahlway," and I think that's how I met you, was because you knew somebody that whatever, and I needed a voice.
No, actually, we met originally because I was working at that e-commerce, health company. Somehow or another, you were introduced to us, and we started carrying your product. And then, as we became friends and got to know each other, you found out about my second life, which I actually used to do professional animation voiceover.
Right, and you did a dog for me. You did my dog, and
I did a dog, and I did some voiceover, and now I'm the best bedtime story guy in my kids' lives. So it's but it was a heck of a lot of fun, and it was a great way to get started and into the industry.
It was. So what I was about to say was that with Amazon, Dawei Cardio Kickboxing was back in. It was a video. It's a VHS. It's still a VHS on Amazon. They never took it off. It's not for sale. It's just still up there. But I used to ship because I produced that, wrote it. I named it Dawei because the guy's name was Dewey Young. I mean, really, you're going to teach high-end cardio kickboxing and you want to be this rock star cardio, like this guy, and your name is Dewey Young. We have to do something about that, So I got a Chinese linguist, and I said, "What is Dewey? Why would two Chinese parents name their kid Dewey?" Right? Dewey. And he said the closest thing in Chinese is Dawei, and Dawei happens to mean awesomeness in English.
Wow. Perfect.
And it was so perfect for Do Dawei. Yeah, that's why it was like Do Dawei.
That was a lot of fun.
But I used to ship Amazon. That's when Amazon didn't know how to ship anything out, and it was 1999 or something like that. And I would get invoices for 12 VHSs of Do Dawei, and then 2 hours later I get another purchase order from Amazon. Oh wait, we need 12 more. And it was so raw and new Amazon was back then, and to see what it's turned into and what it's what I love about it is that anybody, if you're smart, you have your product just like it's at a retail store where you walk in and you have all of the competition surrounding you in the same category, right? And that's exactly where you are when you're on Amazon. You're surrounded by your competition, which is exactly where you want to be.
Yep.
And
yeah, and it really provides a platform. I mean, for me, at the time, I didn't have the capital to build my own website. I didn't have the capital to create my own shopping cart and all this. And it literally, I mean, you type in your information, you pay your $40 a month or whatever it is, and you can become an Amazon seller. And, a lot of people just go on there and put stuff in their inventory that is available, at many, many, many other retail outlets. I happened to be lucky enough to put an item that was only available in one place, and so I controlled the monopoly for the first, couple of years of the product's life cycle. Now you go on Amazon or you go on the web and there's, 100 websites carrying it. But back in those days, every direct-to-consumer full margin sale was ours. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was. It's interesting because I was always a big advocate of like with EasyGo Pro, most of our business, 95% of our business, except for now we're getting into Walmart.com and blah blah blah. But 95% of our business to date has been on Amazon, in its first year. And we've done actually phenomenally well with just being pretty much on Amazon. That's not to say we do have an e-commerce website, but the nature of the consumer, I'm finding, is not going to product-centric websites anymore. They, of course, they're going immediately, they're not going to Google either. They'll Google what color are Angelina Jolie's eyes, or how old is she? But they Google on Amazon for the product. And
and the thing is, there's an Amazon Prime shopper. If you're not, if you're familiar with Amazon Prime, you spend whatever it is, $80 a year, and you get all these perks, including 2-day and sometimes same-day free shipping. You get to stream movies and stream music. I mean, I'm an Amazon shopper. I only buy what's sold at Prime. I mean, if I can't get 2-day shipping, I don't even go. And a lot of people, still feel that sort of sense of a little bit of discomfort when it comes to e-commerce shopping, when they're not shopping with a retailer or a shopping cart that they're very familiar with. You can get a refund on Amazon before you even return the product. That's how sort of tightened up these guys are. And so what happened with me, it was funny. In the very beginning, I didn't do FBA, fulfill by Amazon. I was fulfilling my own orders.
Right.
But then as time went on and we were doing, several thousand orders in a month, I had no choice. Then you go FBA and you ship a pallet to them and they handle all the fulfillment for an extra fee. But what was great was then finally, I was big enough to create my own website because it was something that we needed to have. Well, I didn't want to have to manage inventories from 2 different places. So when you sell on Amazon and you do FBA, you pay a commission and you pay a fulfillment fee. But when you do it on your own website, obviously, it's all on your dime.
Absolutely.
But what I was able to figure out, and especially right when Shark Tank aired, because you have no idea what to expect. And that night Shark Tank aired, my goodness, I mean, we had probably over 70,000 visits to our website and somewhere in the neighborhood of, 4,000 orders in,
a night?
4 minutes. I mean, it was crazy. And I mean, there's no way you can, with Amazon, it's great. They just keep on fulfilling. But I was able to actually find with the e-commerce platform that I used, which was Shopify, which I would recommend to anybody that's going to get a huge spike because they're really rock solid. I was able to actually link up my Amazon inventory at the fulfillment center with the orders that came in through my own website. So all I would have to do is push one button on my website and would automatically fulfill from my same inventory, and Amazon was charging me as if they were just doing the pick and pack and I wasn't paying the commission. It was so easy. And that's the biggest mistake a lot of these people do. They go on the show or, do their fulfillment and they get a big spike is they just don't prepare. But technology is such today that it makes it easy, doesn't it?
I would always recommend that what I do is I just set people up and I'm set up with a professional 3PL, right? So I don't touch it anyway. So I'm never I haven't touched a product since 1994 and I put it in a box and a label on it, right? So it's very much worth the money. So I have to weigh, well, what's my cost to have my 3PL do it, pick and pack, a drop ship basically for Amazon, which is like what we do with Home Depot and things like that. But with Amazon, the drawbacks are this. One, it's never your customer. It's never your customer, sure. Okay? And so you can't really even talk to that customer unless you really know what to say and how to do it and communicate with the customer, right? Mm-hmm. As far as doing FBA, I think FBA sometimes for me works out a couple of pennies cheaper actually at the end of the day, because I'm not putting a brochure in with my FBA, and my brochure cost me 23 cents to put it in. So I'm saving 23 cents because they don't allow me to put a brochure in with it. It's just my product. That's it. Nothing goes in there.
Yep. And there's no shipping cost to you, and but then the drawback is there's also no profit for handling because that, in some cases, that is a potential moneymaker.
Yeah, not for me because my product is light and big. I mean, it's a toilet stool that weighs 1.3 pounds, and it has to go in a big box. Tony?
Can you tell me what a 3PL is?
Oh, third-party logistics.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
They do like fulfillment, and they do credit card processing, and they touch the product.
That's good.
It's all the warehousing, and they're touching the product. Yeah, and the customer service also.
Yeah. I learn something new every day.
I never talk to anybody, but on Facebook, that's the only place. So Morri, you were just interviewed. Well, tell us about the Inc. magazine thing.
Oh, wow. So this was interesting. So my deal with, first of all, let me touch base. So my deal with Damon is kind of different than a lot of other people that have ever been on Shark Tank. So, I came on and he said, listen, there's something about you I really like. I really don't want to be in this business because it's a very small, not only is Christmas seasonal, but your product is like seasonal. Right. It's like, Right. So he's like, it's very small, and I think everybody knows that. But he said, let me help you license this out. And then I want to work with you on other projects. I'm like, all right, sounds like a dream come true to me, right? So he actually did. He made good on his word. He put his legal team and his licensing team on it, and literally within a month after airing, I was able to license out my product to the largest Christmas wholesaler that's in the country by the name of Kurt S. Adler. So if you've ever bought a Christmas item with a theme of like Sesame Street or Star Wars or Downton Abbey, this is the company that does it. And they gave me a great deal. And, so for the past year and a half, 2 years now, they are doing everything: manufacturing, sales, marketing,
they do it all.
You name it.
You collect a Kevin O'Leary royalty.
I got the mailbox money, and it's a phenomenal deal. So,
mailbox money.
As time went on, and Damon got to know me as a business person and got to understand my 20 years of experience working with, the largest retailers in the world and the e-commerce and just my way of doing business and, managing relationships, we just started working on things here and there. And now, fast forward, a year and a half, I basically run new business development for his company, Shark Branding. And so that being said, I've got phenomenal opportunities in front of me. We have a great working relationship, and one of the things that happened about 4 months ago was he does keynote speeches, probably about 2 keynote speeches a week. He's a phenomenal speaker. And he was asked to do the keynote speech at an Inc. magazine event called GrowCo. They do it once a year. It's in Nashville. And, you have people like Jessica Alba, Brian Lee, Joe Gebbia, founder of Airbnb, Damon was a whole bunch of people. And what they wanted was, he was doing the keynote speech, and they wanted a breakout session with Shark Tank entrepreneurs and, how to deliver the perfect pitch or something to that effect.
Right.
So, I went in, did my thing. And then afterwards, I got pulled aside, and they said, hey, can we just, tape you on camera answering a few questions? I didn't know what to expect, okay? They tape me, a few questions here and there. It takes about 20 minutes, and this is about 4 months ago. All of a sudden, last week, I start getting phone calls. People are calling me going, hey, you're famous. I said, excuse me? They said, hey, have you seen what, Inc.'s been putting out on Twitter? I said, what are you talking about? So Inc. magazine has taken that interview and cut it into whatever it was, 3-4 clips, and they're starting to blast it on social media. And when I say blast, I'm talking about 3-4 times a day on their Twitter feed, Facebook feed, LinkedIn, Instagram. It's everywhere. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Then 2 days later, I don't know what I was searching on or something, I go to Inc.com. I am on the friggin' homepage for like a week. Literally the top right placement of the homepage of Inc.com with my clips, and I'm just like overwhelmed. And I'm going, and my video's going viral. I've got like all of a sudden there's like 200 and 300 and then 1,100 shares, and people are calling. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And I tell you, it was a phenomenal gift, and I didn't know what to expect, but look what happened.
Morri, that's the power of free marketing, basically.
Heck yeah.
Look at that. Well, it's a really cute, it's a nice, is that a video still that they did of you?
It is, yeah. You can go to Inc.com and, just Google, search my name, and I think there's 3 or 4 clips, and, it's things about, what's it like to be an entrepreneur, and, how did you make the leap of faith, and what are, mistakes entrepreneurs make, and things like that, and, they did a great job editing and made me look a lot better than I think I look. So.
No, you look great. I noticed, I watched it, and I noticed that you said, well, one of the mistakes that entrepreneurs make is you said is not, I think you said not really having enough money in the essence.
Not so much having enough money, but not having financial intelligence. There's a big difference.
I don't have either one. No.
Well, I just know, you do.
I just know great
what
ideas.
I'm talking about, it's like, you get these people who have this terrific idea, right?
Yeah.
And then, they go to a trade show, and, before you know it, a CVS or a Walmart sees their item, and they say, boom, we love it, we can't wait, we want to put this item into 4,000 stores, and you're thinking, I'm going to be a freaking millionaire, and life is over, and I'm going to go, hang out with Richard Branson in Necker Island. The problem is that a lot of people don't have the financial sort of discipline, wisdom, or intelligence to really understand what that means.
That's right. Thank you for saying that. I say that to someone I know that's very close to me, is you do not understand. If we got into Walmart and we got into Walgreens, 8,000 stores in Walgreens, think about that. We would have to deliver, and we sold one a week. One a week, because that's really all I got to sell is one a week, right? One a week.
Yep. One per store per SKU per week. That's a hit item.
That's right. That's all I have to do. Well, think about the inventory I'm going to need. Think about we got to come up with the money for that inventory. We got to feed that inventory. We have to plan the financial out, because we're not going to get paid from Walgreens for 90 days.
Oh yeah, I mean there's retailers, they'll set you up with, net, let's say 2% 30 payment terms, which means, if they pay in less than 30 days, they get to deduct 2% off the invoice. They'll end up paying in 150 days and still deduct the 2%.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do? You're going to go up against their lawyers? I mean, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. You got a lot of people who will go out, they'll mortgage their house, they'll produce all this inventory, they'll ship it in, and they don't read the fine print. They don't read that returns are allowed, or they expect, trade expenses and allowances. They don't think about the fact that, What if it doesn't sell? Is it going to come back to me? And then most of all, people sometimes they just don't know that there are options out there. For your audience that may or may not know, there's something called factorers. You can factor an order where, let's say you get a large purchase order from a reputable retailer like a Walmart. You got guys out there who will pay you 50% of that purchase order up front, so that, you're basically signing over the purchase order to them. And they'll pay you 50% of the order up front so that you can produce your inventory. Then they'll pay you when you ship about another, 35% or so. And then they'll put the 15% in their pocket. But isn't giving up 15% possibly worth not bankrupting yourself? I mean, and people don't even know that that's out there.
Morri, only if you priced it right to Walmart to begin with, because it doesn't sound like you did. You would have.
That's such a great point, Wendy. A lot of people that I know, they'll get a test. They'll get Walmart to say, hey, we'll test it in 20 stores. Okay, great. Well, obviously, if you're going to produce something for 20 stores, you're going to get a much higher price than if you're going to produce it for 4,000 stores from your manufacturer. But a lot of people will say, well, shoot, I got to make money on this test. So if my item costs me $5, shoot, I got to sell it for 10, and then, I'm going to tell Walmart to retail it for $19.99. When at the end of the day, if you would have gotten it into 4,000 stores, it would have cost you $2. You would have sold it for $4, and you would have told Walmart to sell it for $9.99. I'm just making these numbers up. Right. But a lot of people will go out there in a test, put it at a higher price so they're making money, and guess what? The test fails. You never want to price it in a test at anything higher than what you would do if you had a full store rollout. A lot of people don't know this, but tests should be almost losses. You're lucky if you do that.
Your test, and I will say this again because I come from DRTV and we test a lot and we do also. Your test should always be, I say, the best it can possibly be. So don't give me crap packaging that I can fix later, or give me something that I have to shoot that doesn't look good, and then I got to Photoshop because you don't have your packaging together. Oh, we'll change that later. No, you're not going to change it later. Your test has got to be the best it can be, because only then are you getting the right information to make decisions on.
Exactly. Very good point.
Thank you. Tony, we're gonna be right back. We have to break actually for my EasyGo Pro commercial. We'll be right back, Morri.
In an average lifetime, 1,500,000 minutes are spent on the toilet. So what's the problem?
When you sit on a toilet, you're at a 90-degree angle.
Nature didn't want us to do it that way.
This causes pushing, straining, hemorrhoids.
That's crazy.
We want to create a product that is great for humanity.
Well, go time just got easier. Introducing EasyGo Pro, the only way to go.
Anatomically, we were designed to eliminate at a 35-degree angle.
You just sit, lift, and go in a natural position.
The benefits list is this long from a pure health perspective.
A healthy colon is encouraged by doctors for all ages.
The key to vitality, it's the key to longevity, it's the key to your health.
Be a healthy goer. Order now at EasyGoPro.com. Try it for 70 days. If you don't absolutely feel better, just send it back for a full product refund. Go time just got healthier at EasyGoPro.com.
Hey, we're back, and everybody listening or watching, you are watching Living Unfiltered with Wendi Cooper, and my guest is Morri Chowaiki. I almost did the Chowaiki. No, Chowaiki, and he is currently working with Damon John at Shark Tank Branding. Damon, as we all know, is on one of the hit shows on ABC, which is Shark Tank. We have a lot of shows right here being shot right now, and right here I think they're just starting up again, right? Because we're at Sunset Gower Studios, and so a lot of ABC stuff happens here. And we are discussing entrepreneurial spirit, the spirit of being an entrepreneur, what it takes, what to look out for. And because Morri and myself come from consumer packaged goods kind of background in e-commerce, we're having a lot of fun talking about the mistakes sometimes people make. So let's continue it with that, Morri.
Sounds good.
What's the number 2 mistake do you think that people make? Because you know what, nobody needs to know what they do right. We should share our knowledge with people about what is it that they're doing wrong, and maybe people have a takeaway message about these are things to watch out for.
Well, I think mistakes are necessary to succeed, first of all. So, I don't know if avoiding all mistakes is ever a good, a good path to go down, because it just teaches us, and one of my mistakes in the very beginning was, I manufacture, well, look, first and foremost, I don't think any American entrepreneur wants to go overseas to manufacture product. I have no desire to pay duties and taxes in a country I don't live in, but the mere fact is that when I priced it out and I saw the costs between producing it here or overseas, it was like, it was just a no-brainer. So anyway, decided to go overseas to make my product. And I had never manufactured, what was my original product was a two-sided injection molded plastic apparatus with a coil that went in on the inside, and, pretty simple, you'd think, lots of tree toppers out there. Well, a lot of times, you get great samples, right? We've all seen great samples. We've seen, top-of-line production, and everything looked fantastic. In my case, what happened was, I had all these pre-orders for my first year. I promised all my customers that they would have delivery by the first night of Hanukkah, which, let's just say was December 12th or whatever it was. Like I said, samples look great. I never got off my butt, though, and this is where I wish I would have done something different and went to the factory. I should have sat there myself and done it, and I just... it was a hobby. It was I had a full-time job. I was, dealing with what I thought were great middleman consultants that were really, on top of the game.
Oh, please. I just had this whole experience this past 2 years.
Oh, it's frightening. So I had these, something like 800 pre-orders, and they all had to ship out by, let's call it, ground December 5th. Well, December 9th was already here, and they still weren't out of customs. I'm sweating, biting my fingernails down to the bone because I promised all these people, and I don't want their holidays to be ruined. Oh, finally, the stuff gets here. I get a call. It's arriving on December 10th. So the first thing I have to do, I got to upgrade everybody who paid $4.99 for ground to 2-day air. So there goes my profit.
There goes your profit.
Done, right? Because of my e-commerce expertise, I had everything all set up. I had, these 800 FedEx boxes all stacked and made. I had the labels done. All I had to do was throw them in the box, stick the label, throw it out the door, done, right? Well, a pallet comes, and, I've got myself and my wife and my kids who are my little sweatshops, my little unpaid labor. We're all going crazy. And as I take these things out of the boxes, Wendi, one by one, I start to hear a rattling. I'm like, what the heck's this? And I look, and the coil is coming out of the star on at least 40% of these things.
I'm sorry, Morri.
It is now like 8 o'clock at night. I am sweating. I am having a panic attack. And I'm like, what do I friggin' do? So I ended up literally breaking out the glue gun and fixing as many of these that I could, but I had a 40% failure rate from the factory.
You hadn't charged the credit cards of the people, had you?
So here, this is probably one of the better recovery stories you've ever heard. So, Amazon pre-charges everybody. Everybody's paid. They're all waiting, and I'm promising them every day, you're going to get it by this date, okay?
I feel your pain.
So these things are falling apart. I'm there with like 7 glue guns, like an octopus, doing everything I possibly can to put them in the box. Some are falling out. Some are okay. Some are this. Finally, 3 a.m. rolls around. We've done everything. They're all in boxes. They're all stacked, ready for the FedEx pickup. And I come upstairs, and I write an email to every single person. Okay? Every single person I write this email to, and I say, and this is where it comes back to customer service, nothing is better. And I write this email, something to the effect of, listen, I know you've been waiting. We are going to get it to you in time. We've upgraded your shipping from ground to overnight or whatever it was on our dime, not a problem. Here's the issue. We had manufacturing quality concerns. We found that our inventory was defective, and you may end up having a product where the coil is coming out. If it's not, up to par, here is a way to fix it. Gave them instructions on how to kind of take it apart and glue it if they wanted to. But then we said, if any of you are dissatisfied with the product and you want a refund, Don't bother returning it. Please just let us know. We'll credit you immediately, and we're very sorry for the inconvenience. Wendi, take a guess. Out of 800 units, how many came back and requested a refund?
Probably none. I'm
10.
just 10. Yeah.
And every one of the other 790 said, thank you from the bottom of our heart. You are a true mensch. You're this, you're that. And let us know when you have your next round of inventory. We want to buy from you. And here's the kicker.
Customer service is key. Always
300 people a week later sent a picture of their tree with our topper on it. And it became our social media craze.
That's awesome. That's a great story, Morri. And it's so important. People lose sight of, customer service. It's just, it's to me, it's customer service is like customer service. I mean, customer service is your brand. Customer service is your company. Customer service is everything. And, if you deal with Amazon a lot, is the terrible thing is that anybody can make a comment about anything they want on Amazon. Yep. They don't even have to be a buyer. And you have to go through this whole process of saying, well, wait a minute. I mean, my account got shut down right after Squatty Potty was on Shark Tank. Shark Tank was... we had just launched 2 weeks earlier. Amazon, Squatty Potty sold out on Amazon, or they just weren't available on Amazon. I don't know what happened, but my product was. So we had super high velocity. Well, there was a girl that I know that I wasn't going to give her unemployment because she was an independent contractor, and so I was in an appeals court with her. And she went on and she did this brash, horrible review. Yeah. And Amazon saw it and banned me. Right in the middle of this phenomenal thing that's happening with the toilet stool category, because my good friends, I worked with Squatty Potty at one point, we're on Shark Tank, and it was horrible. It was horrible, and it took me 7 days to get it back up.
Yeah, and the funniest thing is that you know how Amazon, for the reviews, you can click on whether or not this was helpful to you or not.
Yes. And
so the reviews that, first of all, it defaults not to the newest reviews, but the most helpful reviews. And people, most of the laymen don't go beyond the first click. So the minute they see the most helpful reviews, those are the ones that, they take to heart, whether they were from 10 years ago or from yesterday.
That's right.
Well, of course, the 15 negative reviews we got for quality
were the first ones.
Were always the most helpful. So they're always the ones that are there, even though the last 155 that I've had in the last 3 years are glowing. Yeah. Those are the ones that appear on the homepage. And I've called Amazon and I said, listen, this was 3 years ago. We fixed it. You know what they say? Well, the only way to fix it is just delete that page entirely and recreate it again. I'm like, oh, come on. So it is what it is.
Yeah, well, they're good for a lot of things, but I'll tell you, we wouldn't be here, my product wouldn't be here today. But I also have to say that in the past 2 years of going back to being a product owner, even though I really truly believe in the category. I knew that when I was working with Squatty Potty. It was like, this is a great category. I'm a cancer survivor, and I have had digestive problems. I've worked on digestive products all my life, with between 6-Day Body Diet, Slender Secret, Dual Action Cleanse. I mean, you name it, I've really done it. When I saw when Squatty Potty came to me, I saw it and I thought, ugly product. Honestly, hey guys, not such a good looking product, but I think it's a great concept, and I know the digestive health. I know people like to poo. I worked on poo products. I set the category of poopy cleansing in 2005, so it's like, I knew it was great. I just knew then when we parted ways that I could make a really better one, or one that just was another solution for the consumers out there, because this is an amazing category. And Lori Grenier on Shark Tank, she called it right? And everybody else laughed at it, but she saw it. But, QVC still won't put it on air. Like HSN, I have a relationship with HSN. They refused to let me put a toilet stool on air. But
why?
They refuse. 3 times now, Jane Dyer has said to me, Wendi.
Just because of the subject matter? Do you think it's a little too edgy or what?
Just because of the subject matter. I say, Jane, it's a bathroom stool that you put your feet on. It's nothing more really than that, and it has health benefits that go along with it. And
how many products like colon cleanse have they had on there?
Exactly. They have poop freaking pourri to get. I saw Shannon on HSN selling and talking about you know those times when you go to a party and it just kind of smells a little bit. It's like, and you won't put my toilet stool on. I mean, women would buy it like crazy because I know my demographic, and oddly enough, my demographic is actually 24 to 45, and it's male, female. Right. But mostly, but we are great for women who are pregnant. Children have a horrible time with not being able to go to the bathroom properly and because their feet don't touch the ground and they don't have the right kind of pressure. All sorts of things. So anyway, it's a great category. And I love Squatty Potty and Shark Tank for bringing awareness to the category. That's really what it's done. So it's awesome.
And when you said it, I mean, when it's something that you truly love, it's something that you believe in that solves the problem. That's what drives people like us. It's not about making the buck. It's about doing something you absolutely love and are passionate about. Everything will follow if you've got that. Then it doesn't ever feel like work, and that's what drives entrepreneurs. Is you're going out to dinner and you see a ketchup bottle that's not spilling out right, and you're thinking, what's the way I can get the airflow to work a little bit better so I could when you can sustain your income and your lifestyle by way of doing what you love, that's the dream come true for people like us.
It's like my son said that the other day. He's an artist, and he said, I make money doing what I love, and I'm only 24, and it's like, yeah, you do, and it's rare. I think that there's a rare breed of people out there that are truly, and I'd like to just say this about you and about what I know of Damon, although I do not know him at all. But of the things, being so close to inventors many, many, many years ago when I created the programs, for a forum for protection and opportunity, because I saw what happens, especially in direct response television back in the day. Right? It's like, Slaughterville, man, watch out.
Yeah.
And so that's how my company, C-Spot Run, was formed, was because I saw that gap where people weren't protecting the inventors or the entrepreneur, and I knew what to do, how to. So that's how why I formed my company, to fill that gap. I see the same thing. Oddly enough, I was in the Valley last week at a Facebook event for small businesses, and Facebook is another thing that you have to really, it's really great, but at the same time you have to be very careful because they're watching you like God, like two gods at everything that you're doing. But I saw 400. There was 400 people in the room. 400 small businesses craving someone to please teach them how to do what Facebook is telling them is so easy. Right? Facebook's there with this great presentation, and all of these small businesses and mom and pops or whatever, they're all there at this free great seminar, but they're clamoring for somebody to help them because they can't do it. They're running a business. They don't have time to learn how to do the analytics that are involved in Facebook and the creative and, blah, blah, blah. So I saw a whole nother opportunity, we're talking about being an entrepreneur, and we thrive on, we everywhere we go, we see something that we could do or embrace or and whatever.
Well, and nowadays technology is it's changing the landscape of everything. I'll tell you if we still have time, I'll tell you a quick story.
We have 2 minutes.
So, I'm sorry, how long?
2 minutes.
Okay, so social influencers, things like that. I mean, we're at a hotel the other night, and this guy walks up to Damon. He says, "Dude, you got to help me out with my rap career." And Damon's like, "I make T-shirts, man." And all of a sudden, the guy pulls up in the brand new Aston Martin. Damon's like, "Whoa, what's going on here? You don't seem like you're doing too bad." He says, "Oh, no, I'm a fine artist." He says, "What do you mean?" He says, "Well, I've got 1.5 million followers on Instagram, and every week on Monday, I go on Instagram and I put up a YouTube video or whatever he does, and I paint this killer picture, and then I tell everybody you can buy a T-shirt with this picture on it for the next 24 hours. People place the orders, prepay, then I take the orders and I go to the screen printer, get them all printed, ship them in 2 weeks, and then I do the same thing again Monday morning." He says, "Wow." He says, "How much, just out of curiosity, how much, what kind of business are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, last year I cleared 2 million.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine, Wendi? No inventory issues, all orders prepaid.
Oh
and you just get to paint the picture.
Okay, Morri, wait, stand back. My son Chance, who's 24, he had 2 followers on Instagram. Okay, 2. He's an artist. He did his own little. It's called Art by Chance on Instagram, and he just created the page. But you have to listen to the story. He created the page. He had 2 followers when this person named Nick Cassavetes pings him. Nick Cassavetes, the director, Nick Cassavetes, right? And Chance looks at me and he comes out of his bedroom and he goes, "Isn't Nick Cassavetes a famous guy?" Like that. And I said, he loved my son's art. He bought 4 pieces of my son's art, and he put a hole in his bedroom wall where he actually took a piece. And my son's art is very big. It's huge. It's humongous. And he put in, and Chance came home with a pile of cash, and he said, "That was easy."
Wow.
Isn't that awesome? But Chance had 2 followers. Chance had just put his page up, you know. So the power that lies. I mean, my son is not smart enough to do what this guy does. He's just not, he doesn't have the ambition. He's an artist. He's not this, this guy's an artist and a marketer, which is awesome.
Well, but the thing is, nowadays, all these people have, these 5 million, 7 million followers. And that's one thing that Damon helps a lot of, of these influencers do is how do you monetize that following?
Right.
Because they have no clue.
Right. So you guys are working with like YouTube talent and things like that?
Oh, you name it. Yeah. I mean, in Damon's network of social influencers and kind of who we, because he has a consulting company. It's called Shark Branding. And, lots of brands and large companies come in through it. And, we offer tons of services. I mean, his influencer network reaches probably 200 million followers. So, you imagine you put something out to an audience like that, even if you convert 0.5%, think of what happens.
Oh, well, no, I got you on that one, but isn't that
phenomenal?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I follow him on Facebook. I see what he's doing on Facebook. I love his hallway shots and things like that.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He seems like a good guy.
He was just appointed by President Obama as a presidential ambassador for global entrepreneurism. He's coming out with his 4th book called The Power of Broke. He's filming the 7th season of Shark Tank, in a couple weeks. The guy travels 280 days a year. And, it's phenomenal. His newest program for philanthropy is he's buying back illegal guns off the street from, the states and third world countries and then melting them down and turning them into production pellets and making, jewelry and furniture out of them.
Well, what you're supposed to do, that is exactly what you're supposed to do with celebrity and when you're blessed. And he came from a place, and we all have these things in life that are just, devastating things that happen to us and losses and painful situations. And that brings us full circle back to why I do Living Unfiltered, is because those were the very reasons that I wanted to be here and be able to give a platform for other people to share, their stuff, right? And that's why it's not a marketing show anymore. It's a Living Unfiltered where we all share our stuff. And I think that that's just awesome that when you take what you are given, like Taylor Swift, she does it really well also. Mm-hmm. You take what you're given because you're a messenger from God and you are here to deliver it, and we need to deliver that anytime we possibly can, and even if it's just in the form of a Hanukkah tree topper. Morri, we got to wrap it up.
All right. Well, Wendy, thank you for having me. It was really a pleasure, and it's been so great reconnecting with you after so many years.
Yes, it's been awesome, and I hope I can see you physically someday soon. And do you want to give anybody any information of maybe if people want to contact you or contact, Shark Branding?
Yeah, I mean, the best way is, you can find me on Twitter or LinkedIn. My Twitter address is my first name, Morri, Morri, followed by 4 1s. Or, just find me on LinkedIn. That's the best way to get a hold of me. But, if you have an item out there that you want to, kind of take to the next level, we might be able to help you. You never know.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, and if you guys ever need anything from me, you know where to call me.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I might need an Easy Go Pro quickly,
Well, you know what? You can have. I have colors too. I bet you your kids would love the. How old are your kids, by the way?
13 and 11.
Yeah, okay. I'll get your address. I'll send you some.
Well, you're very sweet. Thank you.
All right. Well, I will. You have to send me a tree topper if you have any.
Will do. Pleasure.
Okay.
You better get them before the season starts because, the inventory is going to be limited this year.
I'm going to get a bunch of them. I just moved into this place with this massive backyard, and it would be really fun to have these shiny little, stars all over.
Well, it's funny. Entrepreneurs, you always make do with what you got. So I always take my defective units and hang them from my sukkah every spring.
Yeah, that sounds great. I was just thinking, what can I do with them? All right. Yep. We got to wrap it up. Thank you, Morri. Thank you very, very much.
My pleasure. Take care. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you. Tony?
That was a great show.
We're running over, and I'm sure my niece is waiting for me outside. So everybody, thanks for listening, and we will watch us on YouTube. We'll see you later. Thanks. Bye. Well, it's time to wrap up another great hour of Living Unfiltered here at ubnradio.com. We'd love to hear from you. So if you have a topic you'd like us to discuss, or you want to be a guest on our show, you can reach us at livingunfiltered@gmail.com. And since we're right here in the heart of Hollywood at Sunset Gower Studios, that's like saying, have your people call my people.